Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Walk Before You Run. Today I want to take a look at Mark 7. It starts off by saying, Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes which came from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things, excuse me, and many other things received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots and brazen vessels and of tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, Why walk not thy disciples according to the traditions of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? He answered and said unto them, Well hath Isaiah prophesied of you, hypocrites, as it is written, This people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the traditions of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own traditions. I'm going to stop there because the rest of it I want you to read. We've talked about it in the past, but this morning I just want to talk about, cups and pots. A lot of times our focus is on the wrong things. Cups and pots, washing them, making sure your hands are washed before you eat. Now, not a bad tradition, because growing up, my mom wouldn't let you in the kitchen unless your hands were washed. And so, not a bad tradition, keeps germs down to a minimum. But the problem here is putting those traditions we come up with above the commandments of God. And so we get our priorities all mixed up. We're doing the wrong things, counting them as more important than the things that God says. A lot of times we're so busy trying to um, do things according to what man says at the cost of doing what God has commanded us to do. And so that's something we have to pay attention to. Are we so busy looking at traditions, things we've always done the way we've always done it, and letting that get in the way of us doing what God would have us to do? The other day, I went to the church for something, and I had on a pair of jeans, and that's just me. It's just my tradition. I'm not saying that you're going to hell because you wear some pants in church, but that's just me. And so I walked in church, and there was a young lady there and a couple other people, and I said, "Excuse my jeans. Good evening." And after a while, I went back and we were conversing, and the young lady said, "You didn't even speak." I said, "Yes, I did." She said, "No, you said, 'Excuse my jeans.'" And that was all she heard. And I didn't realize that she had on pants herself. And so, if I had not taken the time to talk to her, about, "I'm sorry, that's just me. And, please forgive me," then she could have taken that and thought that I put wearing pants over the souls and salvation of men. And I never want that to happen, for people to think that, you know, I take traditions and put them above the souls of men, which, I know if I made that mistake, I know we've all made a mistake somewhere in life, said something, done something that made people feel like traditions of men were more important than the commandments of God. And so I'm just sharing with you so that we can both make sure that we put the commandments of God first and be mindful of the things we say, the things we do that are just tradition, and not allow them to get in the way of making sure that people know that God's commandments in our life are first and the most important beyond the things that we practice as tradition. And some will come at me and say, well, in the Bible it says, but I'm just sharing my experience. Okay. But let's not allow the things that we do that are traditions, that are just rituals, get in the way of us spreading the gospel, the good news of Christ's salvation, and drawing people to God. That's all. Read this for yourself. Maybe God will speak in a different vein to you, use a different lens for you to take a look at this. I don't know, but I just wanted to share my devotion with you that I read this morning, because I'm going to be thinking about this, probably going back to it several times throughout the day to see what else God has to share with me. And I'll invite you to do the same. Thank you for joining me this morning. Remember to walk in God's word before you try to run, this journey for him or in his name. And just before you go out and, run your own errands, so that God can minister to you as you go out and do the things that you would like to do. For those of you who may not be able to see the live chat, um, my daughter just said that sometimes we often get lost in tradition and can sometimes, unfortunately, ruin a first impression for people coming to Christ for the first time. That is so true. That's exactly the point. So just make sure that we, as children of God, don't get so caught up in the way we do things that we lose that opportunity to guide someone and show someone the way. I'll see you next time. Enjoy your day. And always remember that we are blessed so that we can be a blessing to someone else.